In the heart of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, we bring to you round number 4 of the Elite Seniors Racing Championship Asphalt Touring Series presented by RaceMRL.com. I am your host, TJ Dayton, Tim Dayton, whatever you would like to call me here tonight. Also on the producing box is myself, doing double duty here tonight. Should be a fun one here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, at the now defunct in real life Myrtle Beach Speedway, preserved right here on the sim here on iRacing. Always loved this racetrack. It was always a fun racetrack to watch, like the Wheel and Modified Tour go to, or even late model events here were definitely something to watch and stay tuned to. So we thank you for joining us here tonight on the DRN as practice has 10 minutes left. We will take a quick little pause as Simon Adams will sing tonight's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Big thank you to Simon Adams for tonight's beautiful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner, the United States national anthem, as his brother Kyle Adams on the racetrack in the Irwin Tools Crown Royal number 24. Kyle was saying he hasn't ran this scheme in 8 months. I believe his last time racing this car was at Hickory in Season 3 of the Misfit Touring Series on V-Speed. So nice to see this car back out on the racetrack. In a number 24 tonight is Kyle Adams. Not allowed to run the 24 because good old Scott Tice out of Avon, Mississippi in the number 24 machine. 2 24s in the field tonight as we take a look at Scott Tice, who goes down the front straightaway right now. Man, Scott's had a tough year this year so far in the point standings, or honestly, even in the season as a whole, has had a rough go of it. As gonna quickly take a look at the points here for the Asphalt Series. Keith Kincaid currently leading the series with 80 points after the 3 races we've had so far: New Smyrna, USA, and the Iowa Speedway last week. Brett McCoy, unfortunately not here tonight, only behind Keith by 1 point. That definitely that top 3 finish last week at Iowa saved him a little bit, but we'll just have to see. Definitely going to lose some points to Chris Farmer, who we didn't see on Monday night. He is here tonight. Good to see him back. Frank Barbary in fourth in points with 72 points. 8 points behind the leader, Keith Kincaid. Rob Cassidy had a great run up until he got caught in an incident on Monday night's Dirt Series. Take a look back on the DRN if you haven't already. Currently 10 points behind Keith. And Scott Tice also tied for 5th place. 10 points behind as well. Belshaw in 7th, tied with Ed Papineau, both 11 points back. Mark Ossier in 9th, 13 points back. And Chris Reinald, who of course, actually, I don't believe he's here tonight. He is not currently on the entry list here for Myrtle Beach tonight. So 14 points back in 10th position. Maybe Chris Hall or Tim McDowell can make up some points on him as a 3rd place. A 3-car battle for 11th. In points, all 18 points back to Keith. Everybody's looking to make some points up tonight. So we will just have to see. There's a big welcome back this week to Greg Parmalee in the number 04. In the K2 Motorsports, Tipsy Tim's Patent Triple A. As they get into it a little bit there, it's practice, guys. Calm down. Parmalee in the Patent Triple A, Young Gun Creations, Rob's Cows, number 04. Getting a little wild there, those guys. Scott Kingswan's paint scheme is fixed. The number 155 machine. Maybe going to pull it down pit road this time. But out of Madison, Wisconsin. Is that number 55? I was going to take a look at somebody we haven't looked at very much yet on the series. Rem Wyatt. Nice to see him out here. I haven't really seen much of him. Out of Renoto Beach, California in the number 60. I believe he's out of Los Angeles, if I'm correct on saying that. I'm pretty sure he's out of Los Angeles. Yes, out of Los Angeles in the DC Designs number 60 machine. Making some laps here. Currently 11th out of 15 cars to take time here tonight in practice. 2 minutes and 50 seconds, just under 3 minutes left in practice for tonight's feature event. Kincaid top of the board at 19.428. Gonna take a look at him here tonight. Monday night's dirt winner at Port Royal Speedway in Port Royal, Pennsylvania. Looking good here in the early going of tonight's event. Kyle Adams currently 2nd in times with a 19.860. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the best time. That's the last time. Kyle Adams currently 2nd with a 19.332. Kincaid top of the board, 19.299. Just under 2 minutes left here in the practice. As now we can take a look at King Swan here. Out of Madison, Wisconsin in the King Audio MRI Morrissey Racing Incorporated Ho-Chunk Gaming left-hander performance number 155 machine. King Swan had a pretty good run last week. Led quite a few laps out of last week's race. King Swan was the leader with 6 to go. Led 23 laps last week, but he unfortunately had a bit of a tire issue late in the going. As I said, 6 laps to go, and he just kind of got the meatball flag and was sent to the pits, unfortunately. Could have maybe saved enough tire and enough fuel to possibly upset Kincaid. But once the pit road cycled out, it was Keith Kincaid who came home victorious last Wednesday night, at the Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. Of course, we had ARCA Thunder last night, live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. That will be broadcasted on Friday night on the Elite Seniors Racing Championship official YouTube channel. 8 seconds left in practice as we will get ready to begin qualifying here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Single car qualifying for all these teams here. 15 cars on the property here tonight, looking to take time. And it looks like Ed Papineau, first car out on the raceway. As they're all leaving the pit lane. Gonna take a look at Ed here. Out of Rockford, Illinois in the RD Ranch, number 01. No cars have been able to take time yet on his first lap. Here is the 01 machine. First car out. The ESRC RD Ranch machine comes across the line. 19.466 for the 01 machine. Got Flamin' Hot Cheetos on the back of that machine. As we go on board with him quickly through 3 and 4. Coming out of the corner. Currently top of the board still. Will he improve? No, he will not. But Scott Tice, top of the sheet on lap number 1. Goes for lap number 2. 19.417 is his first lap. Comes across the line. Not going to run faster. A 19.494 for him. We're going to take a look at Frank Barbary in that number 26 machine. Out of Daytona, Florida in the RKM Setup Shop, Fastlane Motorsports, number 26, Frank Barbary. Of course, out of Florida, like I said, first lap. Fourth quick, 19.499 for him. Going to come around once again for lap number 2. Any quicker? No, he will not. Still fourth quick with a 6.62. So we're going to take a look at Keith Kincaid coming around for his first lap. P2, 19.435. Oh, taps the wall a little bit. That might give Tice a little bit of an advantage, and that is going to throw away his second lap. Unfortunate for the number 17, as Kyle Adams in the number 24. Kyle looks to make his first lap. Begins his first lap here on the raceway. Around 1 and 2. Heads through 3 and 4 to complete lap number 1 here of his qualifying. That'll put him top of the board, 19.364 for Kyle Adams on lap number 1. Who knows? Maybe this Crown Royal scheme will give him some luck tonight. You know, he's had some terrible luck so far in the first 3 races. Gonna throw out that lap. Not gonna better it, 19.891, and that will end qualifying here at Myrtle Beach. We will take a short break right here on the DRN. Stay with us. The ESRC is sponsored by Ruck Offshore, a veteran-owned brand built for those who live life on the water, inspired by the discipline and resilience of offshore anglers. They create high-performance apparel and gear designed for durability, comfort, and functionality in the toughest conditions, while actively supporting marine conservation to help protect the oceans that fuel their lifestyle. Ruck Offshore's apparel lineup of lightweight performance shirts, hats, and sun protective gear also fits very well within the racing world, giving drivers and crews breathable comfort for long, hot days at the racetrack. Visit www.ruckoffshore.com for more information. Also presented by Checkered Flag RC Raceway. Checkered Flag RC Raceway will be bringing you the action all summer long for season 23. Not only will they have their normal racing schedule from May through October, but they'll also have the Kansas Dirt Oval Championships, Racing for a Reason benefit race, and their Halloween Havoc event in October. Their track is totally geared around a family atmosphere. They strive for a no-stress, fun-filled day of racing. Located 1 mile from the Kansas Speedway, they would love to have you join them. Check them out on Facebook and YouTube. www.youtube.com @CF Raceway. As we get into our starting lineup here. Row number 1 here will bring you Kyle Adams alongside Scott Tice, Keith Kincaid alongside Bob Belshaw, Ed Papineau, who had a good finish to start off the year, a 3rd place finish alongside Frank Barbary. Row number 4 brings you Chris Farmer and Scott Kingswan. Kingswan was so close to a victory last week. Can it happen tonight? Row number 5 brings you Greg Parmalee and Rob Cassidy. Row number 6, Rem Wyatt and Chris Hall. Row number 7, Andy Patton and Tim McDowell. Then rounding out the field, Mark Osser in the number 24 machine. As a green flag in the air. Yes. A bit of a delayed start there. That was certainly something. Kyle Adams off to a good start here to begin the race tonight. Off to an early lead here as we head through 3 and 4 for the first time. Kincaid hot on the heels of the number 24 machine as they head into 1 and 2. Oh, but a big wreck behind them. Parmalee in it. Chris Hall, Andy Patton, and Rem Wyatt. Tim McDowell just misses it barely. Great driving awareness here from McDowell in that number 45 RD Ranch Tipsy Tim's TDR Media machine out of Kansas City, owner of the Checkered Flag RC Raceway. Glad to have them on board for the broadcasts going forward, and we love supporting them. Let's take a look here at the replay. The RD Ranch replay here. And Parmalee was battling on the outside of Scott Kingswan. Got a little loose there, turned it around, and Rob Cassidy, just unfortunate victim. And it was a stack up behind him that caused that one. And McDowell was in a prime position to not be involved in any of that. Parmalee goes around, Rob Cassidy gets a little piece of it. Chris Hall, Rem Wyatt, and Andy Patton get stacked up in that one to bring out the early caution. Tim McDowell on pit road for some tires early on. Chris Hall still out on the racetrack. Rem Wyatt rejoins the field towards the tail end. Kincaid and Kyle Adams, your two leaders up at the front of the field. Field doubles up this time by. Off of passing the start-finish line. iRacing pace car pulls down the pit lane, looking to get a restart. On, I believe, lap number 4. Kyle Adams leads them to the green flag. They let him rip in a turn 1 and 2. Kyle Adams leads over Keith Kincaid. Side by side for that third spot between Ed Papino and Bob Belshaw as they come off turn number 2. Papino going to get the slight edge in a 3 and 4. Belshaw looks to cross him over as they got a beautiful battle behind them between Chris Farmer and Frank Barbary for the 4th spot. I'm sorry, for the 5th spot, excuse me. Now, Farmer looks to go to the inside of Bob Belshaw for the 5th spot, or for the 4th spot. As Kingswan looks to do the same with Frank Barbary. Kyle Adams out to a strong lead as we get to lap number 9 here tonight in the feature event. Leads the first 10 laps of tonight's feature. Kyle Adams feeling strong here tonight after what terrible luck he's had this season on the Elite Seniors Racing Championship Asphalt Touring Series presented by RaceMRL.com. As honestly, I think this is one of Kyle's best tracks. Seeing him the last couple times I've seen him race this track, he's just so good here, in my opinion. And it really comes down to who will be the best with managing tires early on, because we know Keith is very good at tire saving and keeping it relatively clean. As Barbary and Kingswan go at it for position number 6 on the raceway. Kingswan gets a little high coming out of 4. These two are going to continue to go at it for position number 6, side by side as they come off the corner. Barbary slight lead as they head into 3. Kingswan looked to pull side by side as they went through the corner. Kingswan going to try and dive into the corner a little deeper to get past them. Side by side coming off the corner to start off lap number 14. But just cannot get the run into 3 for Kingswan. Kyle Adams still leads the way, lap number 15, early on here in the Elite Seniors Racing Championship Touring Series at Myrtle Beach. like I said earlier tonight in the broadcast, it is very, very good to see this track still alive and kicking on iRacing. Unfortunately, not a racetrack anymore in real life. Always one of my favorite places to watch modified races or late model races like we have here tonight. And honestly, on the sim, it's one of my favorite tracks that they have, but I'm glad it's being preserved for sim racing use for years to come. Kyle Adams still leads the way 3/10 ahead of the 17 of Keith Kincaid. With Rob Cassidy and Scott Tice going at it for position number 7 on the racetrack. Scott Tice makes the pass. King Swan looking to make the pass now. Fell back a couple spots here, as Greg Parmalee has not recovered from that opening crash. As we are now 20 laps into tonight's feature event here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Side by side as they head into 1 and 2. Pulls alongside does King Swan. Cassidy, of course, has that wheel damage on the right front. Things probably driving a lot more towards the wall with that fender pushed in like that. More susceptible to a tire rub on that right side. And that certainly will not help, that wall tap there. Greg Parmalee to the inside in the 0-4. As side by side for position number 9 on the racetrack. Tim McDowell 1 lap behind. Chris Hall 1 lap behind in 14th and 15th respectively. Everybody else, 13 cars still on the lead lap. 23 laps in at tonight's feature. As Parmalee made the pass for position number 9, Kyle Adams continues to lead at Myrtle Beach. As the laps click down, we'll definitely get a long green flag run here. But we got an interesting schedule of races coming up for the Elite Seniors Racing Championship. Of course, on the dirt side of things, next week we head to the Lernerville Speedway, 35 laps on tap on August 3rd. Then that same week, Wednesday, August 5th, next week, 100 laps at the Hickory Motor Speedway in Hickory, North Carolina. A historic racetrack. The birth of the NASCAR stars, if you will. Birthplace of NASCAR stars. Several NASCAR legends came out of that raceway and that facility. So I'm honestly very excited to broadcast the race right here on the DRN next week. Then the next race after that would be Martinsville. Frank Barbary brings out the caution here on lap 25. And around he is in the number 26 machine. The RKM setup shop, Fastlane Motorsports number 26, goes around to bring out your second caution of the evening. Let's take a quick look here, courtesy of the RD Ranch replay. He was alongside, battling with Scott Tice, and ooh, Tice got into him after Barbary hit the wall, hit the fence on the back straightaway. Unfortunate. As Barbary makes it down the pit lane to get some repairs here. Chris Hall back on the lead lap. There's a lot of cars on pit road here. Busy pit road tonight. Rob Cassidy just heads down the pit lane just now. Tim McDowell on the pit lane as well, pulling off there. Mark Ossier pulling off as well in the number 20 machine. Rem Wyatt, haven't really talked about him since the opening lap, that lap 2 wreck we had there. He pulls off pit lane. Frank Barbary pulling off pit lane as well. Rob Cassidy was also on the pit lane. As McDowell, Barbary, Ossier rejoined the field towards the tail end. As Cassidy pulls off the pit lane now. Second caution of the evening, lap number 26. Caused by Scott Tice and Frank Barbary. As Barbary doesn't have too much damage to that Arcam setup shop 26 machine, as he allows all the rest of the rank and file drivers, lead lap cars, to go to the rear, or I mean, the 26 has to go to the rear of the field, excuse me. As Kincaid and Kyle Adams lead them to the restart once again. Green flag in the air on lap number 25. But a wreck off the rip, I believe. Will that bring out a caution? Not too sure. Said Papineau and Tice crashed on the raceway. But that is not true, as they are right there. Scott Tice and King Swan going at it. Belshaw and Chris Farmer also going at it. 4 cars under a blanket here from 4th to 7th. And Parmalee just behind them in that 8th spot. Chris Farmer and Belshaw going at it for position number 4 on the raceway. King Swan and Scott Tice. Oh, heavy damage. Frank Barbary gets in it. Parmalee's in it as well. That will put us back under the caution flag for one Scott King Swan. A lot of good cars were in that wreck just now. I knew with them being that close together, it was going to cause an issue. And unfortunately, it did. For Barbary and Tice and Parmalee. But Parmalee looks like he's sitting in 7th right now. As King Swan goes down the pit lane. Greg Parmalee's also on the pit lane. Heavy front end damage to that 04 machine. And it looks like a broken right front tire, possibly, to bring out your 3rd caution. Just unfortunate for those two getting into it. And honestly, and Scott Tice has some pretty big damage to that front end of that machine as well. Let's see if we could try and get a better look at it. And we cannot. Gonna take a quick look at it here on the RD Ranch replay. And then we will take a quick commercial break right after. As Tice and King Swan are going at it for that position. It looks like King Swan might have just turned up, and Parmalee, unfortunate, got in it. Andy Patton, great avoidance there. For the number 87. Take another look at it here. And yeah, just King Swan looks like he came up on him a little bit. Just unfortunate for all parties involved. As one lap to the green flag. For, actually no, green flag this time by. About to go back green. On lap number 34. The 2 race cars come to the restart zone. And green flag back in the air. Lap number 37, I apologize. As almost Papineau and Belshaw go back at it for that 4th spot. Or, I'm sorry, for the 3rd position on the raceway. Papineau looks to get another top 3 for his efforts Andy Patton staying out of that one. Currently fighting for the for the 5th spot on the raceway between him and Chris Farmer. Andy Patton falls back a little bit, allowing Rob Cassidy to his inside. As Scott Tice now out of the race as of lap number 37 as our latest caution. Got involved in that one with King Swan, and just unfortunate for Tice and for Parmalee and the rest of the guys that were involved in that wreck. Lap number 41 ticks off. Kyle Adams led every lap so far. Barbary and Parmalee are currently in the pit lane getting serviced. Tim McDowell 2 laps down in 12th. 11th, 1 lap down is Chris Hall, and 10th, 1 lap down is King Swan. 1 lap down in 9th is Rem Wyatt as well. 8 cars on the lead lap as of lap number 42. Kyle Adams still leading the way. Frank Barbary comes off the pit lane as they come around to possibly lap him yet another time. 3 laps down is Frank Barbary in the 13th spot. As we tick off lap number 44. I'm sorry, 43 going into 44. Kyle Adams still leading the way. Frank Barbary back on the pit lane. Make more adjustments. Lap number 45 ticks off. Kyle Adams still your leader. Kincaid catching up. Bob Belshaw, great run here tonight in position number 3. Ed Papineau, another great run after being taken out the last couple weeks in 4th. Chris Farmer in the 5th spot. Had a great run last week at the Iowa Speedway. We got to talk to him, I believe. He was in the top 3 for that event. Rob Cassidy had a great run on Monday night. Great to see him up in the top 6. As I guess we have Scott Tice joining me in the booth. Scott, just an unfortunate way to end your race there.
Yeah, just a racing deal. You know, it happens, and but a real racy track, it's going to be a good race.
I don't know if you could still. Are you still at the racetrack?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Kyle Adams still leading the way here with Keith Kincaid. Kyle led the whole race so far. Definitely holding it to the bottom pretty well. He was talking earlier in the race, and a few of you guys were saying that it was definitely going to be a tire-saving race, much like last week. So it's definitely good to see something like this. And, I mean, Kyle seems to be holding back a little bit. So does Keith. But, I mean, I feel like they'll turn up the wick with like 20 laps to go or so.
Absolutely. They're definitely in tire-saving mode. Those are 2 of the best at doing that, too. So we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big advantage for Keith to maybe extend his points lead over Brett McCoy, with Brett not being here Monday night and not being here tonight, of course. So that definitely will change things points-wise.
Absolutely. And in my opinion, Keith's in the catbird seat right now. He's exactly where he needs to be. He's and that's what's going to be the key at the end of it, is who saves the most.
For sure. That'll definitely be the strategy we got going on here. As a great battle for the 6th position here between Andy Patton and Rob Cassidy. Cassidy, the last couple races, he struggled for the first 3 races of the season. Good to see him, running pretty good and keeping it consistent. As he takes
Rob's a good racer. He's one of those sleepers as he take that spot away from Andy right there. I mean, he's just a good methodical racer, and his podiums are coming.
Yeah, he was in third on Monday night during the dirt late model race at Port Royal, and of course got involved in that big incident towards the end of the race, which was very unfortunate.
Yep.
You know, it's
It was.
commentator's curse, definitely, because I did mention he was having a good run just before that, and then that happens like the same corner after, and I was like, But yeah, Ed Papineau having a good run as well in position number 4 at the moment. Bob Belshaw, I believe this is the second time we've seen him in third spot this season. He was running well at USA. Only really runs the asphalt portion of the series. Good to see him out here representing the Elite Performance Industries EPI sponsored number 44 machine.
Yeah, Bobby B runs good too. He's a dang good asphalt racer. Looks like Keith is getting a little racy up there.
Yeah, Keith is definitely. Kyle's keeping him at least 0.2 of a second just to keep him around and make sure he's not getting too close. Because it happened with Brett last week where he let Keith get too close and Keith was able to just drive by him on the outside and on the inside a couple times after losing all that tire and using all that tire up. Yeah, comfortable lead here so far for Kyle, holding him back at 0.4 of a second down the straightaway, 0.5 now, slowly pulling away from Keith. Maybe Keith thought about maybe pushing it a little bit and decided against it. Who knows? But this
yeah, who
Crown
knows
Royal...
those?
Go ahead.
Yeah, who knows, man? These guys, like I said, they got to be two of the best at this tire saving game, and I bet that 17 will be up there bumping on his bumper before long.
Yeah, the field is definitely single filed out a little bit here. You know, that Crown Royal Ford Fusion, Kyle hasn't ran that paint scheme in 8 months or 8 or 9 months or whatever he said. Hickory for season 3 of the Misfit Touring Series. So that, you know, I guess maybe it's bringing him some luck tonight, unlike the Ruck Offshore blue and gold paint scheme he's been running.
Right, he might want to bring this one back.
Yeah, he's harnessed his inner Matt Kenseth here, if you will.
Yeah.
He's hoping to have some 2012 Daytona 500 Matt Kenseth luck for tonight's race here at Myrtle Beach. And the top 5 is relatively unchanged. Bob Belshaw pulling away a little bit from Ed Papineau by 1/10 of a second. Chris Farmer on the back bumper of Papineau now for that 4th position. Cassidy running by himself, but got Rem Wyatt on his bumper. But Wyatt is a lap down, so not racing for position here on the raceway. Next car for position would be Andy Patton, 2 seconds back from him. Rem goes to the inside in that number 60 machine, the DC Designs number 60. But Keith closing into a 10th now as they head into turns 1 and 2. Kyle slips up a little bit, allows Keith to get to the back bumper. Scott, this is going to be a good race here. Look into the inside as Keith. But Kyle going to hold him at bay, 2/10. Back 3/10 down the straightaway now, or out of turn 2 and going into turn 3, 2/10. Belshaw closing in a little bit here. Actually, Kyle's gaining on Belshaw in 3rd position. As these two leaders, Scott, have definitely pulled away from the field. Kyle slips up a little bit there, goes a little high.
And their lap times are right there together. These, like I said, these guys know what they're doing. They know what they want, you know, and where they want to be. So it's going to be fireworks, I promise.
Yeah, Kincaid a little bit quicker that time by. With a 20.063, I apologize, to Kyle's 20.072. As that time by Kyle, the quicker car. 20.034 to a 20.007. Matching Chris Hall's number there. As only a 10th. Keith definitely looking faster off of in 3 and 4 compared to Kyle in 1 and 2.
Definitely looks like he's got a better drive off the corner.
Yeah, Kyle's
But
getting a good...
getting there is one thing and passing's another. You know that as well as I do.
Yeah, Kyle looks a lot better in 3 and 4 this time around. Kyle seems to be running a little higher in 1 and 2, I've noticed the last couple laps. Maybe to try and save a little tire, going right back to the bottom to try and defend from Kincaid. As we have 30 laps to go here in the feature event tonight at the Myrtle Beach Speedway.
See several people come in for tires. Andy Patton, the general, come in for tires there. Several of them have come down pit road, so we'll see how that works out.
King Swan, another lap car. Passing Ed Papineau for position. Well, not for position, but for in front of him on the raceway as the battle for the lead heats up here. Keith Kincaid goes to the inside, looks to send it on Kyle. Not going to make it stick.
Oh, wee.
Kyle gets him off the corner, just clears him barely as they head into 3 and 4 once again. Kyle definitely a little better in 3 and 4 than he is in 1 and 2 this time. Great run off the corner from Keith. Kyle goes to the inside to defend. Gonna keep the spot for now. Oh, Keith jumped the rumble strips in the corner a little bit. Or the little bumps, which are, as you know, treacherous here at Myrtle Beach in 1 and 2.
Absolutely.
Known for spinning cars out if you're not careful. Those bumps have cost me, I know me, many a race, unfortunately.
And I'll go ahead and bring it to your attention right now that it looks like Bobby B is one of the fastest cars on the track.
And
he's still turning 19.9s.
Caution's out for the 20 car. With less than 30 to go here in tonight's feature, Kyle Adams leads the way. Probably very happy that that caution came out here, Tice.
Absolutely. These guys want some right side tires. A lot of these guys have them and they want them. So this happened. This is going to make for a great shootout.
Yes, sir. As we're going to take a look here at the 20 cars accident here. It looked like he was involved by himself. Yeah, went under the inside of Chris Hall. Oh, no. Got right hooked by Chris Hall. No fault of Chris's own, actually, to be honest. It looked like he just got into him a little bit there. Chris Hall on pit road. At the moment, going to take another look from the inside of Chris Hall's car. As Mark just sent it in a little too deep, and I don't think Chris was expecting him to be on the inside and lunge like that. So that's
right. He just carried a lot of steam in there, and he just slid up on Chris. So that's just one of them racing deals.
Yeah, unfortunate circumstances for the 20 car and the 007. Kyle Adams takes, I believe, right side tires. He might have taken lefts there. Kyle Adams first off pit road. Is Ed Papineau shown the leader currently on the raceway? Chris Farmer in second at the moment. Rob Cassidy third. Keith Kincaid in fourth. Bob Belshaw fifth. Kyle Adams for sixth. Scott Kingswan seventh. And currently out of the lead lap cars in eighth is Rem Wyatt. As I believe the order will shuffle out with Kyle Adams and Keith on the front row. Not too sure. We'll just have to see. Maybe Ed and yeah, Ed gonna stay out here. Pace car just pulled down pit road. As I believe we're gonna continue another lap under caution. Not sure why the pace car pulled down pit road. Maybe extending it at the last moment. Yeah, this is interesting. Pace car pulling out a little farther. I don't think I've ever seen this in my time on the sim. As there's the pace car, the iRacing pace car pulls out once again. Yeah, Papino will
Yeah,
be
they'll get it
picked.
sorted out here in just a minute.
Yeah, Papino will be picked up as the leader. Rob Cassidy picked up in position number 2. Kincaid position number 3. We'll have to see if they can hold off Keith here with a little bit under 30 to go on the restart. As Kyle had a terrible pit stop there. Let's see if he can maybe make his way back through the field. But it could be anybody's game here in the closing stages of tonight's feature. As we are going to let him fly once again. Green flag back in the air. 19 laps to go on the board for Ed Papino. As Keith immediately passes Rob for the second spot. Fantastic start by Keith.
Absolutely. Him and Ed just jumped out there like that. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Ed's running definitely a little higher like Keith was. The track, like Kyle was.
Oh, we got a caution.
Yes, we do. Chris Farmer around towards the back of the field. Was running in the 7th spot. That moment of caution and heavy left front and right front damage to that machine. Tim McDowell also in it. It looks like King Swan was also involved. Not sure if they're just coming in for damage or repairs or something happened there, but we'll have to see. Yardie Ranch replay. As, yeah, 3 wide in front of him was not the move. Yeah, he got into Tim McDowell, and ooh, hard hit for McDowell. Unfortunate for both those cars. Yeah, tough hit. And King Swan just gets into it a little late there. And nowhere to go for Scott. Currently sitting on the pit lane. Chris Farmer comes in for some repairs as well. Bringing out your 5th caution of tonight's event, Scott.
Yeah, man, that just looked like a racing deal. I hate it for Chris Nim and Timmy as well. They both running really good, but that's part of racing. That's why we race, you know. But wow, that was a hard hit.
Yes, it was a absolutely rough hit for the number 45 machine. Recently got a new sponsor this week, actually. TDR Media on the car this week. Good to see Tim running somewhat good. Us Tim's got to stick together, if you will. And Grandpa Tim, no different.
Absolutely.
Here, back on the raceway. That car has definitely seen better days.
Well, Tim. Yeah, he'll finish it out, though. He's a trooper, so... but I'm going to let you bring us home, and I'm going to enjoy this and listen to you. You're doing a great job, and we definitely appreciate it. So let me get back down here with these guys and finish it out down here.
All right. As we are going to let the restart go, Ed Papino leads us to the green flag once again. Green flag back in the air, 14 laps to go. Keith Kincaid and Ed Papino lead him to the green. As Keith looks to the inside now, coming off of turn number 2. Papino side by side with Kincaid as they head down the back straightaway. They come out dead even. It looks like Papino gets a little bit of a run out of the corner. Still side by side, heading down the front straightaway. Papino might give it to him here. Sticking around on the outside. Rob Cassidy goes to that 2nd position as they let Kincaid to the lead. As caution is out, Osier in the 20 car around on the back straightaway to bring out your 6th caution of tonight's feature event. iRacing pace car about to pass him on the raceway. Oh, hits him. Unfortunate for that number 20 car. As we will be right back here on the DRN. The 20 car still on the pit lane, getting some repairs, much needed repairs to that 20 Pennzoil machine. As we're going to take a quick look here at the RD Ranch replay once again to see what happened to that car. He was running by himself, and it looks like Belshaw and Kyle Adams got into it and just, man, came up a little too quick. Maybe wasn't expecting, didn't know Kyle Adams and Belshaw, or Kyle was on the outside of that. Just unfortunate for that 20 car. Just got caught up in another person's incident as Rob Cassidy and Kincaid in the 17 and the 68 respectively. Are leading the field to the next green flag. Our 6th caution of the evening. 2 in a row here, unfortunately. As Greg Parmalee pretty much out of the running. I believe he's still on the raceway though. Yes, he is. Currently scored in the 14th position. 45 laps down. As less than 10 to go here, Kincaid leads him to the green flag. Green flag once again in the air. 8 laps to go for the 17 machine. As, Chris Farmer issues, bringing out the 7th caution of the evening. In the 8th, was currently scored in the 6th position at the time of caution. Gonna have to take a quick look at that. On board for his little restart here. And looks to push Rob Cassidy. And just gets hooked by Rem Wyatt, and around he goes. Belshaw got a piece of that as well. Just unfortunate for Farmer. Currently scored in the 8th position on the lead lap. As Parmalee maybe looks to go down pit lane. No, he will not, actually. I apologize. Chris Farmer, just an unfortunate turn of events. Here's Papineau 3 laps down as well. He was running so good and just got caught up. But Kyle Adams here towards the end just got to the 3rd position in the Crown Royal Irwin Tools number Smirnoff Ice number 24. The RaceMRL.com Ford Fusion. Currently sitting in that 3rd spot. He will be behind the leader Keith Kincaid on the restart. As Rem Wyatt in the 4th spot at the moment. Nice to see that 60 car up towards the front of the field, even if it has been a little bit of a murky circumstance with Chris Farmer being the reason we are under caution. As actually, matter of fact, let's take a look at the wreck from Rem's point of view. He's on the inside of Chris, and just Chris might have came down a little bit there. Just unfortunate. It's going to be less than 8 laps to go. I believe 5 when we go back green. iRacing pace car. The lights are off on the iRacing pace car here. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, the like, comment, share. Share it on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you would like to do. Or visit www.racemrl.com/ESRC for more information. Coming to the green flag. Once again, green flag in the air. As Kincaid out to a good, decent lead here. 2 laps to go in the feature event. Can Kyle Adams get by Rob with 2 to go? Or will it be the Keith Kincaid show once again? White flag in the air for Kincaid. Kyle Adams gets to the inside, blocked by the number 68 machine off the corner. And they will not be able to stop the ESRC Ironman. Keith Kincaid victorious once again here in the Elite Seniors Asphalt Touring Series. Rob Cassidy for P2, Kyle Adams P3, Bell Belshaw position number 4, Andy Patton in position number 5, Chris Farmer P6, Rem Wyatt P7, Chris Hall position number 8 on the lead lap. Position number 9 goes to Ed Papineau. Unfortunate little finish there for Papineau, 3 laps down. Tim McDowell, great comeback here, 5 laps down. Ossier out of the race in position number 11. King Swan out of the race in position number 12. Frank Barbary, 26 laps down in the number 26 machine and 13th. 14th, Greg Parmalee, 45 laps down. And Scott Tice, who we had in the booth for a little bit there. Thank you for popping in the booth, in 15th, rounding out the field. We will take a short break, and then we will talk to your top 3 finishers here for tonight's feature event in Team Holloway Racing and Graphics Victory Lane. We will be right back after this.
Team Holloway Racing Graphics is your one-stop vinyl shop. We specialize in RC racing of all scales. We do full-size race cars as well. Have a sign that needs done, vehicles lettered, we can do it. PT Speed Shop. We rebuild quarter-scale motors, break them in, dyno them, and get you back to victory lane. We have a parts store opening soon. Check it out at ptspeedshop.com. Check us out at teamholloway.com. We would love to take care of your vinyl needs.
As we will talk to our 3rd place finisher, Kyle. You were leading the race for quite a bit there, and it looked like you were saving tire for most of the run there. Tell us about what happened. I mean, you kind of lost the lead a little bit there and had some trouble on pit road, and
Yeah, no, car was really strong. The setup was nice, and for a fixed setup, it drove really well. I wanted to make sure I can get at least 3 or 4 car lengths in front of Keith and try and hold it out there as long as I could. Tire saving was the name of the game tonight. Even though we had tires in the pits, you want to try and stay on track as long as you can. Thankfully, we had a really long green flag run there, and it was just a game of who could save tires the best. And Keith did a really good job. He was on my bumper the whole time. I tried to pace him the best I could to save tire, and about 3 laps before that caution, I got that notification we were wearing out the right front, and proves to me I did not save tires very well. Got in the pits. Pits were great. The pit crew did good. The driver messed up. The driver sped on pit road by mistake, and we had to drop to the back and then try and swim our way back up in 8 laps. And unfortunately, we had 2 cautions in that time span, but thankfully we were able to get by the 44 and I think it was the 60 who were up ahead of us. We got up there, finished 3rd, and absolutely honored to be able to take a podium here at ESRC.
Yeah, you've had some, solid runs where your car's been pretty good. A couple of the races on the Asphalt Touring Series season so far, and just had some bad luck on your part. with getting involved in other people's wrecks and incidents and stuff like that. You know, I mean, you're not running for points. You're just here to have fun at the end of the day, and I respect that. So, solid run tonight. Any family, friends, sponsors you'd like to shout out here, Kyle?
Oh, definitely got to shout out my main sponsor, Crown Royal. No, I got to give a big shout out to you, ESRC, Keith, Rob. You guys have a great organization here. They do a really good job. They have a great group of guys. Some of the most respectful racing at times. It may not look like it, but these guys are in a chat and they're all just really respectful. Lots of give and take, and I wish more racing was like that across iRacing. But no, just got to shout them out. Shout out my sponsors. My real sponsors here would be over with MRL. The big one is Ruck Offshore. Got to give him Joey over there a big shout out. He does a lot for us now. I got to shout out Kinetic. Use code MRL, get yourself 15% off. And then you for broadcasting. Appreciate you.
All right, well, congratulations on your well-deserved third place finish here, Kyle.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Strong run here tonight, Rob. You know, P2 finish
Well, thank you,
after
sir. I appreciate it.
getting caught in a couple people's incidents and just bad timing, wrong place, wrong time. You know, tell us how your race went in your point of view.
You know, I mean, for me, realistically, it was probably a fairly clean race. You know, I was just riding, beginning of the race, long race, have a tendency to burn up tires, took some advantage of some advantageous caution flags, and, you know, came out in second. Good run.
And for you tonight, you obviously, both you and Kyle so far have talked about tire saving being a big thing. We talked about it all race long. How important to you specifically was tire saving tonight and managing those, especially that right front tire?
It was everything, but I tell you what, you know, you got there was a lot of too wide racing, and it made it very difficult to save tires. So, you know, I'd run maybe a lap or two too wide, and then just either if I couldn't pass, I'd let the guy pass, because last thing I wanted to do was burn up that right front, and so I just did everything I possibly could to keep my tires under me and make it last as long as I could until I got hopefully a late caution, you know, and then come and get some fresh tires and put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's refreshing to see you up towards the front and getting a solid finish like this. Me and Tice were up in the booth for a little bit. He was in here for a little bit during the race, during that long green flag run, and we were talking about how I kind of jinxed you on Monday night. You know, you were running third and you were running pretty good, and you just got caught in an incident on Monday. So definitely a well-deserved second place finish here.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. It was, you know, it was disappointing to have a good run going on dirt and running third, and, you know, an unfortunate incident. But no, I couldn't be happier, and tickled to death with my run tonight. Again, patience paid off for me.
Yeah, definitely a well-deserved second place finish. Any sponsors besides RD Ranch, family, friends you'd like to shout out?
You know, I gotta thank my wife, because she really puts up with me doing this. You know, 3 nights a week is hard. You know, I work late, get home, eat some supper real quick, feed the cows, and you know, come right out here to get into my rig. And so I don't spend any time with her on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, just because I'm racing. So I really need to thank her. But you know, my sponsor, RD Ranch, you know, it's I couldn't do this without, you know, the backing of you know, what brings me a little bit of extra. So I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank Keith for all his help with running the league, and you know, Kyle from the MRL. You know, those guys are fantastic. They're top notch, and more so than being associated with the league, I'm happy and proud to call them friends. So I want to thank them as well.
All right, well, congratulations on your well-deserved second place finish, Rob.
Thank you,
Well
sir.
done,
Much
my friend.
appreciated.
Yeah. As one of the best, once again back in Team Holloway Racing and Graphics Victory Lane in his Flamin' Hot Cheetos Elite Seniors Racing Championship number 17 machine for K2 Motorsports. Keith, another solid night in the books, but man, it looked like you were catching Kyle towards the start of that long green flag run there.
Yeah, I had a real good car under me tonight, and we did a really good job of saving tires. I knew Kyle seemed to be pushing it there at the front, so I just, gave him some rope and let him hang himself, and he kind of burned his tires up and just kind of waiting for the right opportunity to get by him, and then we got that caution and kind of had a weird delay on getting in the pits and had to pit on the second lap. So, but all in all, great night, great racing, and truly happy to come out on top.
Yeah, you were definitely obviously one to watch. Currently the points leader of the Asphalt and Dirt series. We talked about it a couple races ago. I believe actually it might have been last week or the week before we talked about it where we talked about points. But it's definitely almost halfway through the season so far for both the Asphalt and Dirt. Points are going to start being a thing you really have to hyper focus on. So I know you'll definitely figure it out and you'll come back strong for next week. What do you think about Hickory? We got Hickory next week for the Asphalt Touring Series.
I like Hickory, but it's probably not one of my better tracks. But I usually run pretty good there. Usually on the podium. I think I had a second there last season. So yeah, we'll see. Found some new stuff out on some settings and been playing around with some stuff. And I think I found some more speed on these smaller tracks. So we'll just have to see how it goes next week.
Yeah, we'll see how you do next week. It's all about, I think that's definitely another tire saving racetrack. So that old service will definitely chew up some Hoosier tires. But any family, friends, sponsors you'd like to shout out for the victory here tonight in Team Holloway Racing and Graphics Victory Lane?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Kyle Adams with MRL for giving us this platform. Appreciate all he does for the league, all of our great sponsors, and I'm just happy to be here in Team Holloway Racing and Graphics Victory Lane.
All right, congratulations on yet another victory here in the Elite Seniors Racing Championship.
Thank you, Tim.
As we wrap up tonight's proceedings here at the Elite Seniors Racing Championship, we thank you all for tuning in here tonight. We will see you next time, next Monday night at the Lernerville Speedway, then on next Wednesday night at the Hickory Motor Speedway. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next time right here on the DRN.